Hey guys, today we're going to have a chat about the lefty friendly arsenal. And it just so happens this is also a great budget arsenal as well. There's not a ton of resources out there for left-handed people, and I found that going to the range and talking to people that most lefties end up very frustrated because there's just so few resources on the internet, and most of the advice you get is, oh, learn how to shoot right-handed. And you don't have to do that. I wanted to make this video for you guys out there because I know there's quite a few hundred of you actually who follow this channel just because you are lefties and like the lefty advice. So if you are a budding young southpaw and looking to put together a cheap budget arsenal, I want to show you how to do it and do it in the most comfort. First, we're going to start off with the handgun. I particularly like the Ruger P series. They did discontinue them, but the Ruger SR9 is pretty much identical in function to this P95. As you can see, it's got the ambidextrous mag release, and it's got the ambidextrous decocker, and the slide release you can actually reach pretty easily with your in a left-handed situation, so that's no problem there at all. Actually, it's actually one of the easiest guns to do because it is so, its placement on the frame. So I really like, for a budget, these P95s or the SR9, which I think go for around $400, $450 new. I got this P95 for like $275 or so back in the day, and that's the inflated New York price. You can find these things used now for $250, $300, so they're really not hard to come by. They actually sold a ton of them, and so you tend to see them used quite often. It's a great pickup. I like Ruger. They're tough as nails. They're big, heavy tanks. They're pretty accurate. Just overall great guns. So I think that's a must-have for a southpaw. There's other guns that have kind of copied Ruger's ambidextrous mag release over the years, but we are talking a budget here. So next, let's move on to the hunting rifle. Now this is going to be your thing you're going to use to take game, and I chose a lever action 30-30. Of course, it doesn't have to be 30-30. It can be whatever caliber you like, but the lever action 30-30 is terrific. This is a Winchester Ranger that actually was passed down to the family that I picked up relatively cheap. Lever actions are fantastic for lefties. They really just are simple to use, simple to load. You really don't have to have any, you don't have to make any changes to comfortably run this gun, and that's pretty great. The only downside is the make sure our frame here is this cross bolt safety, which is kind of tough to get to from a lefty, because you are over here, and you really can't but you can if you want, you can reach up with your thumb and get it, or just bring your hand back. You're really not going that far to get the safety, but it's very simple to use, easy to use, and you just can't go wrong with a lever action. Once again, you can find these, Winchester 94s, Winchester Ranger, used all over Gunbroker and at gun shops for anywhere from like $200 up, depending on condition. There's a lot of people that have owned these and just beat the hell out of them, and you can get a good deal sometimes on a really beat up old lever gun. So once again, you're in that $250 to $500 price range. Next, the so-called assault rifle, the evil black rifle that's going to maim and kill your neighbors and everyone around you. Of course, as a lefty, you have to go with the AK-47 or one of its variants. I own the Saiga 7.62x39. I have it scoped with a 3x9. I'm going to change that out to a red dot pretty soon. I really don't. I think the 3x9 is overkill. It's been on there for years and years, and I really only tend to use it in the 3x setting anyway. So I think I'm going to swap that over to a red dot soon. Probably get rid of the side rail altogether because it's kind of big and bulky. I might go with one of those Ultimac front rails. We'll see what money allows. Whether you have an AK, a Saiga, AK pistol, whatever, they're very simple to run as a lefty. In fact, I put a video out on magazine changes for lefties with these. It's simple because the magazine is, the release is right here. You can access it from both sides, both ways. In fact, running the AK as a lefty is a little easier because you can get to the charging handle a little bit easier than a righty can. A righty has to kind of go up or over, or under as they charge the weapon. So we don't have to do that as lefties, so that wins. And I know, you know, the AR guys are going to say, no way, you can get ambidextrous ARs and you can get all this and that. Guys, I've used them. They're just not as comfortable. They're not as easy. They're not as intuitive as a good old-fashioned AK. I've run a million different kinds of ARs from the, I think it's Stag that makes the left-handed upper to, you know, just ARs with ambidextrous features. It's just not the same, guys. It's just, you know, they're all kind of counterintuitive. They take, you know, kind of a longer reach, you know, especially the left-handed mag release. It's just not a fan of them. They're not as good. And with experience doing all kinds of different setups, I just found that the AK runs great for a lefty. No mods, just simple, easy. And it's a great, you know, there's always going to be that AR versus AK battle, but when it comes to the lefties, I think the AK is the clear winner. Last is your defensive shotgun. I am a firm believer in the Mossberg 500, and I am a firm believer in the Mossberg 500 because it has the tang safety on the back, which is easily accessible by either one. Plus, as you're handling this, and I'm going to come around the camera here, as you're handling this as a lefty, your slide release is right here. So say you're shooting, or you go to shoot, oops, I made a mistake. Your slide release, you're back on target. Your safety is easily accessible. It is a very excellent, excellent, excellent gun for lefties. And budget. You can pick up a used Mossberg 500. This one here I got for $100. Granted, it was through family, but they're out there. They're fairly, you know, inexpensive to get used ones. And like the Winchester, you can find a lot of these that are really beat up and really old because they've been making this gun for more than 50 years. You can pick up some old beat up ones for relatively cheap. You can buy an old, you know, really nasty looking one, put a brand new fresh barrel on it, and easily walk away, you know, $300-400 with an excellent firearm. The Mossberg 500 is the king of the left-handed shotgun. It's, you know, all the others either have a cross-bolt safety, which is tough to release, or the magazine tube, or not the magazine, the action tube release is just too difficult to reach for a lefty. The Mossberg solves both of that. The only thing you can do is you're going to get the occasional really warm shotgun shell to the face, but as a lefty you learn to deal with it, and that's why you wear eye protection. So there you go, guys. Simple, budget, left-handed arsenal. Everything here is relatively cheap. You know, the AKs, of course, were much cheaper. I paid $300 for this back in the day. It was like $279 plus tax, all that jazz. It came out to like $300 and something. Walked home with it. Nowadays they're $500-600, but still, that's a relatively good price. You take everything combined together, you're talking a little over $1,000, and you have a dynamite left-handed arsenal with a lot of capabilities, from hunting, big game and small, self-defense, home defense, you name it, and a lot of different options out there. I can set up this Saiga any way I want to. A lot of options out there for the AK. The Ruger comes, you know, they make these things with big, huge 17 round magazines, just like the Glocks. All different aftermarket sights and additions for them. They've been around forever. A lot of accessories. The Winchester here is a newer one, so of course I could add a scope to it if I want. It's drilled and tapped for it. Not going to. I like my iron sights on most of my guns, so. But once again, there's lots of accessories, lots of spare parts. This gun's been around forever. So there's a lot of information on how to repair it, a lot of information out there on that. Same thing with the Mossberg. All these guns have been around. The Ruger P95 being the newest, which I think debuted in the early 2000s. It only had about a 10-year run, which is kind of a shame. But the SR9 is just as capable of a gun, a little bit lighter and smaller and just as capable. So everything here, inexpensive, been around forever, easy to maintain, easy to break down, easy to find parts to repair, and all the ammunition is readily available and about as inexpensive as you get. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed.